Hey,
Bet
what's
you,
up?
bet you didn't think we was coming, did you? I bet you didn't think we was coming. Hey, I bet you.
Hey,
Hey, hey. Yeah, what's
I'm
up?
gonna
It's
learn how to dance one
Friday.
day. I'm gonna learn how to dance one day. I'm gonna take some
One,
dance
one,
class
one day.
one day. Yeah, don't judge me.
We're not gonna judge you.
Yeah, don't judge me. Well, hello everybody. How you doing today? I hope that your day has been a good day and eventful one. Even if you didn't do anything at all, I just hope that it just went extremely well while you just sit rested. Like we said, Joe's trying to say we apologize, and so before she tell you that it was my fault, it was my fault. Okay, so I'm gonna put it out there.
Mm-mm. No,
I
it's
ain't
my
know.
fault. I had it plugged in the wrong space.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't.
he got me this ancient computer. Although it's a nice one, it's the
It's not
same.
ancient. The
Baby,
computer's
that
not
thing.
ancient. No,
Look at y'all. Yeah, I got
it is not ancient.
my the screen not ancient, but the rest of it is because my tower is this big, and then he got me this huge. I said, "What we doing with this tower, baby? What was we doing with this
You know, you,
tower?"
you know they got different type of towers. They got the small ones. They got the medium. They got the large ones.
I know I traded in my large one for a small one, and now I have another
Oh,
large one.
yeah.
Praise God! But anyway, y'all,
She
it's a
should
nice
be grateful.
computer.
Shouldn't she, good people? She should be grateful.
I should. Yeah, my brother said he was replacing my laptop, but we gonna
I
get
didn't
that.
say laptop. I said I'm replacing your computer. I didn't say with
Which
what.
which insinuated laptop because that's what I got. But anyway,
She
praise
ain't
God.
happy.
We
Y'all pray
looking
for her.
good. We looking good though.
Yeah, she looking very nice. She wait till she get through set up. She have a microphone because I got to send her the cord. I'm gonna order a cord to go to it, and so she can
I
set up
might
her
already
microphone.
have it, but I barely got this up. I probably
No,
already got it.
remember I ordered the wrong cord. Remember that, and
Yeah, but
so
I might have, but them other cords I got, it probably some margin. Yeah, I don't pay no attention. This is how we do, okay?
yeah, y'all just
I probably got something in there because my brother buy a lot of cords when he comes. So one of them cords in there probably fits something in here.
it probably does, but I was like I gotta order it because I ordered the wrong one. So I was like snap,
Yeah,
snap. So she
my brother's a computer nerd, and I appreciate him because I'm not.
So y'all please excuse me. I know I'm in the dark. I didn't have opportunity to set up my other light over here. So I feel like I'm in between. Dark over here, a light over here.
We're gonna get you one of them table lights, the real small. See, he fancy, y'all. He got baby. I came down there last week. He had all kind of curtains and sheaves and everything coming up with light. But I thought I was gonna take a picture, baby. I said, "What we doing? That's the lights. Them the lights." I said, "I got a light this big, y'all. The light that's in front of me is this big." And it clicks to my table and click in my computer. This baby got a whole get up, okay?
I got a
Background
whole
and such.
studio set up. It's a whole
Baby,
studio set up.
background and such. All you see is that clock. Okay, that's all you get. All right. But bless my brother, so I go all out in the music. The way he go out with the gadgets and gadgets, I'm like that in music. So we out
I'm
in our
all I'm all about the
respective
aesthetics.
places.
Yep, I'm all about the aesthetics, and I will go all out for the image of things because I know people are image people. They like to see before they
That-
experience.
That's
And
right. You are
if you
so
can
right, brother.
So, that's me. I'm a background person. So like I want to make sure that everybody look good. And the other week, we didn't get a chance to come on last week like we supposed to. We had a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I'm not gonna get into details of what went down, why we couldn't do our show, but things happened at the last minute. And as you all know, we do most of our shows live. So
Hmm.
unless we have like emergency situations came about where we are able to plan pre-recorded shows, but most of our shows are live. And when things happen, they just happen. And so it is what it is. So we do apologize
I'm,
to you
I'm
all.
gonna I'm gonna get my equipment. I'm gonna figure out how to go live. Y'all can come on the journey with me while I'm driving, because baby, I was yet driving and I needed people to talk to.
You know what? You know what? We Can you get internet in your car?
Probably. But you know what? That ain't really my problem. I need the equipment. I get the internet once I get the equipment. I don't have the correct equipment. Now
Guys,
I do got a stand that has a remote control that controls my phone when I got it in that stand. But I need I need my phone for the GPS. So I need the camera so I can set the camera up and let it do its thing. So I
Right.
can use my phone.
Right.
So
So maybe we can do an Oprah and Gail situation for you where the camera just right there and just recording and doing
that's
all
what I'm
that. And
saying. Yeah,
Joe,
I need. Come
Joe,
on,
Joe have her best conversations when she driving.
do and
She
do.
she have her best conversations. Be like, what? And you thought about what?
That
And you
what
did
Chris
what?
said tonight. Me and Krista had some heavy conversation on
Mm.
the road, and I'm like, people are missing all this wisdom because
See,
it be popping.
Car
It be
Chronicles.
in the confinement of my car.
It's something about that car, that
It's
box on wheels. Something about that box on
there.
wheels, right?
There it is. See, there go Chris. Look, Monet said, road trip with Joe. I'm telling y'all. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get. Y'all gonna make me, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to go back into the world when I used to throw that thing in the circle. I'm trying not to do that to get the camera.
Yeah, look at my face
Huh?
expression. She said, "Throw that thing out the
I'm
Lord."
trying not to go to my old way. Now I'm just playing. I ain't had them ways, y'all. I'm just playing. But this is why people, desperate time call for desperate measures.
Oh my God.
I'm trying not to go there. Christy, yes, we had a wonderful
So
conversation.
I had fell asleep that night. And I woke up and I said, I haven't talked to my sister. I want to see okay. And then I text her. I said, "Did you make it home safely?" And she said, "I just did." And I was like, usually she called me, but then the next day she told me she had to minister to Mother Coleman and give her the word of the Lord that he was
She,
speaking expressly.
she was in the middle. She was in the middle,
She's a
you know.
Miller.
But if y'all watched the show last week, last Friday,
Ooh, that's good stuff.
my grandmother with her
She
little
learned
self
us something.
Friday, she rode me into the sunset. You hear me? When I get out the phone with Krista Coleman, I still have a few hours to go. And my grandmama talked me into my phone when dead.
See,
I had
that's what's
That's love, baby. That's love, baby. Now I don't know. We talked about a plethora of things. It's like a smorgasbord of conversation. But you know what I'm saying? She kept me. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Like I really enjoyed my granny. Like I've never seen her in that capacity before. And so I got to see a lot of things. And I think, even on the show today, before we were so rudely interrupted with all this commotion, uh, we are going, it's going into Women's Month. And
yeah.
my grandma set that thing off. I don't know. I might need to, she might need to come on again because I'm just saying she set that thing off.
You know, I can set that up. I mean, I think one of these days next month you taking a much needed vacation, so I can definitely set that up where she come back and we sit down and have that conversation.
Now I don't
You
know
know,
when the month's gonna be, praise God. Yeah, I
yeah,
know them 9 hours is a trip, baby.
yeah,
I'm getting old. Now the driving don't bother me. It's the after effects. Once I get home and be like, cause
hmm
y'all know when I get home, everybody got something for me to do. Don't tell nobody y'all at home. You just
yeah,
show up and leave. Cause when they know you there, it sure would be nice if I could see you. And they start hitting and laying down. Look, you know,
yeah.
it would be good if you can go by your aunts. She ain't saw you in a minute. I'll be like, and you can't deny your granny, you know what I'm saying? She 82.
Right,
It's like I would feel bad if she asked me to do something, then I leave and something happen. So I'm like on two wheels trying to do what she asked me to do. And I'm like that
absolutely.
with everybody, unfortunately. That's my baby. So I was just riding a bicycle the whole time.
If
So
y'all see me looking down, I am tagging people into our show. Usually, I send a message out, and I wasn't able to do it today because my phone went dead, and so I gotta find my other charger. It's not charging as rapidly.
can y'all hear? Cause somebody said they can't hear us. Y'all can't hear us.
Christy,
Krista, turn your phone off, turn it back on.
she said she can't hear us.
Yes.
Okay, what we about to do? We about to do our commercial, and we gonna be right back. Because let me tell you what we talking about. We talking about her story. We dealing with African American women and women in general, how they have contributed to our society, and especially the Black community. So we're going to talk about the importance of you as a woman, because we're about to go into Women's Month, which is March, and we're going to have different women that is sitting on seven mountains. That's entertainment, that's politics, that's religion, and so much more. So this is a segue. Y'all remember that word segue? This is a segue into that conversation. It's going to be a really good conversation to see women in leadership and still talk. We're going to talk about how, even though women have made many strides in a lot of these places, but there's still is sexism in every aspect of the seven mountains. So we're going to dig deep, and it's going to be cute and ugly at the same time. So
Nice, nasty.
yeah, nasty. But we will be back. We will be back in these short minutes.
Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognition of their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event, it grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devoted a month to celebrate Black history. The Conversation podcast takes this time to honor those who have made an impact on African American community. John Mercer Langston, the first African American to practice law when past the Ohio Bar in 1854, and one of the first Black persons to hold the elected office in 1855. Kamala Harris is the first African Asian American to be elected as vice president in 2020. Thurgood Marshall, he's the first African American to be appointed to the Supreme Court. Would you like to sponsor? You can Cash App us or set up recurring monthly donations. For recurring donation, email us at rareimage26@gmail.com for more information. The Conversation podcast highlights two businesses every month. If you would like to be highlighted, email us with your information. Are you looking for uplifting and inspirational music? One that will encourage you and energize your spirit. Check us out on Live 365, Vision Radio, a Rare Image company. Love. The month of February is also dedicated to love, the ultimate expression. For love is just a word until someone comes along and gives it meaning. The Conversation podcast will be returning to our scheduled broadcast shortly.
Hey.
What's up? What's up?
What's
I
up?
need you guys to make sure that you, if you're on your Facebook, please go in and share. Please, we need you to go and share. Make sure they see us. And also, if you haven't went on our YouTube, you're a little late.
Mm-hmm.
We need you to go on our YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is on all, so you'll get all our videos that we upload, and even our card chronicles or our whatever we decide to do, baby, because it's just, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, it is, because we're doing Joe's getting back to our car chronicles, and we're doing a spin-off called Conversation and Coffee. That's gonna be with my mama and grandma and several other people, and we still gonna be doing our thing, but it is definitely spinning off into different segments of conversations and things like that. So y'all please like, share. You hear us? Like and share and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I'm just repeating what Joe said. And especially on YouTube, hit all. That way you can receive it. What we doing, okay? Yeah.
Yes.
So, Journalist and I is always having these pillow talk conversations. Always. And I don't know if she realized what she say to me, but I internalize it and I feed on it. I think about it. Will I agree with it? Will I disagree with it? I listen. I listen. So we were just having this conversation about just different things, and I was like, Joe, I got an idea. Now, my problem, I'm guilty of it. I can be a bit last minute. I can be a bit last minute. And we struggle sometimes with guests, and sometimes Joe and I be like, what we gonna do? Like, I don't know what you gonna do. so, so I had this idea, and to me, I look as a God idea. Let me tell you all why. Because um, I was reading an article that happened within the confines of the Southern Baptist Convention. And come to find out, they have kicked out several churches because they are grabbing their idea that women can be leaders. And I'm like, yo, we in this 21st century and we still having these arguments. And it show you how deep this root runs. This idea, this concept that women are supposed to be either behind the man or under his feet. So, I was like, Joe, I got this idea. And y'all got to hear my sister and I pillow talk. She like, what?
Chad, you don't know what my brother gonna come up with, baby. You got him.
And so we have our arguments. Yeah, our arguments. We have our argument like, yeah. I was like, yeah. She be like, yeah. And I be like, yeah. I said, just hear me out. Just hear me out. And I'm
Yes,
like,
hear me out, Joe. Hear me out.
just hear me out. And I said, well, next month is Women's Month. I said it'll be great to end this conversation about the influence of African Americans, female African American, when it came down to civil rights and other issues and stuff like that. Because that sparked my mind about like, yo, we still having these arguments about
Yes.
if a woman can lead, um, and all of that. So we about to get into an opinionated conversation, and it's gonna be deep. Some of you may be offended. Some of you may like, oh, that's not biblical, or this is biblical, and all that, and all that, and all that. So
And all that.
and all that and all that. So we're gonna talk about her story, and there is a story that women can tell. I mean, that can go back thousands of years of how they have led us into
Mhm.
places of safety, uh, place of strength, and not only has been that maternal instinct, but just been a good leader altogether. So, Joe, let me hear your opinion about this conversation. That we're gonna start off with women leader, then we're gonna go up into by Black women.
Mm-hmm. Women leaders, period. Listen, we were talking about this conversation. Of course, me and him were talking about church because I find it very strange to a point that you would allow women to become leaders as long as you can control how far they can go. Um, you know, what they're called, and we were talking about from the church standpoint, but it's across the board. As long as I can control a certain factor, we just started thinking about, different sectors. If you've ever looked at the Clark Sisters movies, that was one prominent
Hmm.
because Maddie Moss Clark had a vision in mind, but she was becoming too big. And she was a woman. You're not supposed to be higher than this and higher than that. And so she had to take the lesser. And I believe, she allowed her daughters to fulfill, some of her dream, but she had a dream of her own. And she had to sacrifice that because she wanted to be submitted and she wanted to be right. And so I just think in certain sectors, you were drilled to be the second, lead from the second position, but you did most of the work. And
Yeah.
I just, women, we do not have a problem with allowing a man to lead at all. I think these days and times, because so many, they run into, because not all men are not leaders. They haven't displayed leadership. They can be leaders. And women have taken up the slack for years. And now it's like, oh, you're acting like a man because you're this, you're that. But we've led from the second position a lot and covered our men like they did it. And I think if men, certain organizations, if they would just be open to the idea of allowing women to flourish, then the women will understand that they don't have to take on a persona of a man to lead or to do what they're called to do. They can just simply be themselves. But a lot of times they have to put on this persona because they already got resistance and fighting in certain you hear all the time in Hollywood, it's a man's world.
It's a man's world.
It's a man's world. And so women have to put on this tough exterior in order to handle business, because you won't allow her just to be free thought. You won't allow her just to be smart. You always have to turn it into, oh, you can only make it here if you give me this, if you give me that. Like she got to use her body parts and not her brain. And so this is a very wide subject, because from religion to the world, women have struggled, although they've already carried and led out in the 7 mountains. They have struggled to get notoriety. They have struggled to get acceptance. They just struggled in those areas. And the few that made it were resilient and literally did not care about what was said.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And also in those that made it, they had to have a tough exterior because everybody was against them, you know. So when not only you have men who believe you out of your place, you have women who bought into the idea that that's not her place. So they undergird and they support the men who marginalize other women. You know what I'm saying? And a
Yeah.
lot of times they think, well, I'm a woman and I believe that way, as if that because I'm a woman and I believe that way, that it solidifies that idea. But just because you have supported the idea does not make it right.
Yep. And
Does
a
not
lot of
make
people,
it
what you just said was amazing. I don't want to forget that, because what you just said, the few women that supported are they usually support it for 2 reasons. It's protection of themselves, which means maybe where they're established at. Some women will submit if they are at a certain sector financially. Like if their husband thinks a certain way, or the guy that went to think a certain way, and they pay all the bills. Oh, I think that way too. So do. Or it's simply fear, and there's sort of an envy that you can step out, but I'm too scared to.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna get slack when I say it. It's just kind of like the Apple users versus the Samsung or the Galaxy user or the Android users. You have those who like they all support in front of each other, right? But behind closed doors, they be like, "Yo, I'm thinking about switching over. You know, I noticed the difference." But it's
Y'all right,
because
baby.
because of fear of being different and standing on your own your foot or your feet. Excuse
Your
me.
foot.
I got
Stand on your own foot.
look.
You
So
better
I got
understand.
4 thoughts going through my mind. I'm trying to organize in my head before I say
You
it.
always
Okay.
do.
So, standing on your own feet and being your own individual person, saying this is what I like, this is what I believe in. So you submit yourself to a idea. And I remember a friend of mine gonna tell me, "Well, I don't follow the crowd. I don't deal with the what they call a flock when everybody going one way. They feel like they stand alone." Anyway, this is what I told him. I said, whether you accept it or not, you're in a group or not. No one is by themselves. No
No.
one's by themselves. So you're in a group or not. You in a group say, I don't believe this, or you in a group say, I do believe this.
Mm-hmm.
I accept this or I don't accept this. So even if you in the group say, well, I don't want to talk about it, that's the group you in.
Yeah, yeah.
So whether you want to be labeled, but you still carrying a label.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're trying to be controversial and you just don't agree with nobody, then you lunatic.
You lunatic. And even
Yeah,
as a group of them, and you
yeah.
find out they argue with each other. Well, I don't believe quite like that, but I believe like this. And then you like, they go in an argument like this. But the idea that a woman's supposed to be submissive in most people's mind is this right here: that a woman is supposed to have a slave mentality. Like if she submit, that means that she is the slave of that man that she submit to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my opinion, um, you're not a strong man if you can't undergird the intelligence or the strength of your woman. And if you want to be scripture, the Bible said we must submit one to another.
Yes.
There's some things that I don't know that Jonisha know.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonisha is good. Like I say this all the time. Jonisha has this personality. She have great customer service, and Jonisha can tell you before I do anything. I run it by her in that area. Like, Joe, what do you think about this? How does this sound? How
Mm-hmm.
does this look? And she'll give me a customer service perspective of
Mm-hmm.
how to approach the crowd. That's submissive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's being submitted to. Does it take away my manhood? Because you got a lot of men who feel like because I
Woo!
ask a woman her opinion or her insight, that take away my manhood. I think it take a strong man to realize that he don't know everything.
Baby, it ain't nothing sexier than a man who will allow your strong suit to be your strong suit.
Let me tell y'all something, women. I know about y'all. When y'all know y'all men don't have a mind, don't mind, you like, look, baby, what do you think about this? It turns y'all on. Now I'm not
Baby,
talking about just
we submit
sexually.
quicker. Baby, we will submit quicker. If we know, come on, I'm gonna give y'all look the men that watch, because I know y'all men, y'all don't be clicking that button, but y'all be watching. I know y'all be watching. Let me tell
What
y'all
they be
men
watching?
something. Let me tell y'all something. You want your woman to submit, you allow her to be her authentic self without trying to change her, because you just watch. I'm telling you, if a woman can be who she's called to be and she don't feel like that it is challenging your manhood, and you're just comfortable in her being in her skin, baby, she'll submit everything to you. I'm telling you. You now you see the people say preach. She
Yeah.
was submitted unto you because she knows that you are not afraid of her womanhood, of her strength. You're not afraid. And it ain't nothing sexy than a man who can handle your strength.
Yeah.
Do you know how many men out here get whole divorces because they woman make more money than them?
Look, I just had that conversation. I said, it was a thing was on Facebook and it was saying, if your woman made $500,000 a year, would you become a kept husband? Would you be the one? I'm like, yes, I will. I'll be out there. Look, I'm gonna run her bath water. I'm gonna take the kids to school. I'm gonna have dinner ready. When she get home, I'm gonna text her, what would you like to have for dinner? And because I know me as a man, it don't take away from me. Now, it doesn't mean I'm gonna sit around and be lazy and become this effeminate guy. But what I am saying, that I understand her role in that area.
And that's the part, brother. Understanding the role, because I'm gonna get on y'all women too. Some of y'all women think because y'all make more money than y'all man, y'all can talk to them in a kind of way, treat them in a kind of way. No, we're not saying that. We're saying everybody in their respective roles, because individual.
I gotta put this. I gotta put this,
my brother lied.
bro.
My
Y'all,
brother is
Mike is my brother,
lying.
y'all. Mike is my brother. Amen.
My
Amen.
brother's lying, y'all, because he do not know how to be still. His wife said, let me take care of you. He be like, I'm going to work, half dead, sliding and everything. That boy lying. He don't know how to be standing.
I hear you, Critice.
He
But
not, but I'm gonna tell y'all, there is each this is why you can't compare marriages, because some people try to compare their marriages with their grandmother or with their mom. Listen, you and your husband have to make a conscious decision in y'all relationship what y'all positions are and hold that thing down. So for instance, if me and Darnell were married and maybe he was the breadwinner. I still, brought bread to the table. Maybe my job was just cooking it up. Okay, I'm gonna make sure when he get home that he got some bread on the table, or whatever. I'm just gonna make sure that he has peace. When you are your person's person, there is a level of peace that you're supposed to carry. They're not supposed to dread coming
Absolutely.
home hungry. They've been working all day. You ain't doing much of nothing. Okay, let's flip it. Maybe I'm the breadwinner. My husband is supposed to make sure. Let me tell you something, because I know there's going to come a time where I'm going to be traveling around the world and I'm going to be doing my thing. Y'all want to know what I want most from my man? Protection. I want him, his support and his protection, because I feel like I've always had to protect myself on the road. I feel like I've always had to roll alone. If my husband make sure I'm straight on that road, if my husband protect my, hey, babe, it's time to go. Baby, I'm gonna tiptoe right out that door as soon as he put that clock up, baby. Show is all you gotta do is look at me the right way. I'm ready to go, because you have those things that you need. If your mate gives you that, I don't care if he don't make as much money as you. If he give you what you need, if he feeds your soul, if you feel a peace when you get home and everything is just, baby, you can have whatever you like. Yes, sir. You sure can.
So it has been so many women that have led, even from a biblical perspective, and it's argued the role of prophetess Deborah. It's definitely been argued. The Bible says she was a judge, not judged. She was a judge.
Come on, you better pronounce. I was judged.
She was a judge, and the people came to her, and she judged the weightier matters. Right? That's a leader. They listened to her voice. And some people like, well, they came to her for maternal perspective. No, the Bible never said it was for maternal. The Bible says she was a judge.
Baby, just like the people that funded Jesus' journey, most of the main ones were women.
Yeah.
They was furnishing the journey, baby.
Yeah. And even they argued about that, because like they said the first evangelist was Mary Magdalene, right? Maybe it was one of the Marys. And she was at the graveyard, and when she realized that was Christ's tomb was empty, she was the one who spread the good news that, hey, he has arisen, right?
Right.
The gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So if that's the gospel, she was the first one to carry the gospel and to spread it. And you know what? And I'm gonna put this tag big right here. It represents the reality of what a woman is a carrier. So she did what was instinctively her. She carried and she birthed. She carried the good news and she birthed out the good news that what Christ, and the reality of this, she went to the apostles and to tell them, look, hey, I went to the grave. He has risen. Sexism came into place. The Bible said they did not believe her because she's a woman. She was a woman. They went to the grave and realized that he wasn't there. That's when they believed.
Brother, you talking something, because I just read in the book of Acts 12 about Rhoda the servant, how they were praying. They said she was amongst believers, and they were praying for Peter to be released. He knocking at the door. It said she didn't even see him. She heard him, and she was so overjoyed she ran back to say, "Hey, Peter is at the door." Baby, they said, you must be crazy. You out your mind. And then they called him an angel, as though he was already dead. So you praying for dead things. You praying for dead things. And you know what she did? She insisted, no, he's outside. And it said they answered the door. So she allowed them to answer the door. And when they answered the door, they were astonished at what they saw, because she didn't even have to see it. She believed it. She was praying with belief. And this is across the board. A lot of times, women can birth out things because they believe it to be alive in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's a heavy thing, it ain't many things that women pray for that's already dead. And even if they are dead, we can believe them to be alive again.
I think and let me say this, psychological speaking, you all have been raised to tap into an area from the time you get to walking. As guys, we're not raised to tap into that area till late in life, and that's the reason why we have a problem connecting with you all,
Mm.
because we was told to disconnect because that's not the manly thing to do. So here we are at 50 years old, and our wife said, well, I'm not married, but I'm speaking in general, or our woman, girlfriend, whoever, say, look, I'm not getting everything from you. I'm about to leave. You're like, why? Because you're not connected. And a woman instinctively, and I might use the word more and more as we talk, y'all more connected and y'all more sensitive because you're taught to be sensitive to
Mhm.
certain things, because we've been taught that men not supposed to be the way. Who says that a man cannot be sensitive? It doesn't make him effeminate because he's sensitive. It really takes a strength. And check this out. What people fail to realize, that is a God character.
Mhm.
Because if
Mhm.
not, check this out. This is Bible. When it talk about Jesus, who is God revealed in the flesh, it says that we have a high priest who feels our infirmities, right?
Yes, yes.
That means he instinctively understand. Why? Because he walked in that space. So
Mhm.
if a man's not taught how to walk in that space, he can't understand what it is. And that's the reason why that you all can pray so deeply and so heavily, and God moves, God manifests himself, and things happen. Some of the greatest revivals that have happened, in Christendom, and we talking about this particular mountain, happened under the leadership of women. A lot of churches was birthed up under women. Now, even though men became the head of those churches, if you go back to the history of it, it was birthed upon a woman started a prayer meeting. She started a Bible study. Barely couldn't read, but she believed God. And because of that, a ministry was birthed. People was saved. People was healed. People was delivered. You hear stories about people drunk and they walk into the church and leave out sober and filled with the Holy Spirit. Lives change. It was under the leadership of that woman. Now, some of those women didn't carry titles as apostle, prophets. They were, because they weren't allowed to.
Mhm. Mhm.
They were allowed to call themselves preachers. And there's certain denominations. I'm not gonna call their names because I won't have no argument with nobody. But a lot of them still believe that women can't be pastors, you know. And so because of that, but they allow them to lead prayer service. And those
Mhm.
women and those men get delivered, but they tell her, this is not your place. You sit down somewhere. A real
Yeah.
man is not intimidated by a woman in her position. Now, a real woman know how to submit to her man, not as if she his master, her master, excuse me. More or less, I submit to you because you are my covering, you're my protector. Not saying you
Yes.
can't protect yourself, because you can
Yes.
protect yourself, but I understand that partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. And we want protection. It's not that we always want to fend for ourselves. A lot of us have had to fend for ourselves. And so what you will see is a lot of times women don't know how to just be, because we have had to force a level. And I was thinking about what you said, how women are taught to tap into the emotions of it. But do you know some women are so handicapped because they're so emotional, they don't know how to balance that thing out, because
That's true.
they they are really really unstable in those areas. And for some of us, it took experience to make us strong, because we were so emotionally affected, or we can feel everything. And I think we're tapped into that. Just think about it. Creation moves around on the inside of us. When we create babies,
Hmm.
there's a certain tapping into that we have to be in order to healthily, emotionally uh transfer things into our baby. That's why it's very imperative, especially if you know you're pregnant, to be careful about your surroundings and how you're feeling. Because I can remember a time, y'all know I ain't never been pregnant, and I asked God for a kangaroo pouch. Thank you, God.
That's what you said the other week. You said you want a kangaroo pouch because
That's
you don't like pain.
I don't like pain. So God knows everybody keep pronouncing triples and doubles on me. He know he better give me triples and doubles if I get pregnant, baby, because once that pain hit. It ain't happening no more. All right, praise God. But I can remember a time. I look at my sister, the other CEO. She's had 5 kids. One passed away, so 6. And I watched her through each of them. And one of the things she always said, man, I wish I had better pregnancies. Because for whatever reason, whether she was going through in her relationship, uh, she can see it in her children. If they're dealing with depression, I can't say nothing because I dealt with depression during them too. Anger, like she can see and pinpoint in each one of her children what she was dealing with based on the way her children react to things. And so, I thought about that. Even dealing with men, as you were saying, we're not taught to tap into that. But the men that are like you, Darnell, for whatever reason, I think it's because you grew up around women, and so you got to be a little bit more sensitive, and I hate to say it, perhaps we don't think about these things, but sometimes the death of one person could develop another part of us.
That's true.
So you may have a father that was hard on you to say, don't cry, be strong, da da da, and you do need those parts. But then maybe if they pass or they're not or they're out of the picture, now you're around all these women and you got the strong part down. So now you're getting a whole nother teaching of communication with women, how moody we can be, how to recognize what's going on with her, because you're very good. And I can talk about my brother because he's very good at reading his sister. All right. He can look at me and some men get an attitude because women have attitudes, and y'all have to understand. Sometimes, depending on who you are, what your calling is, like all that stuff factors in. I ain't trying to make no excuse. Then we have cycles. Y'all got cycles too, but y'all don't be wanting to admit that y'all be having cycles too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but y'all be having cycles too, and so
Hold on. Key point. Sometimes I'm in conversation with you. You be like, "What's your problem?" And I'm like, "What you mean? Like you kind of like a little too?" I'm like, I don't feel like it. Then I come like, do I sound like that for real? Then I check myself and like, well, I apologize. I'm not, because like sometimes we in that moment, and sometimes I hate when a man say I'm not emotional, bruh.
yeah, child,
Sometimes
them be the
men are the
ones.
most emotional people, and women, you
Ooh,
can give me a hand clap for saying that if you're on here. Sometimes we are the most emotional
baby,
individuals and can be the
baby.
most moody. And y'all may go through it one time per month, but sometime with us, and I'm the one to say it, it may be 3 times. Like,
Baby, it's the ones that say they not emotional that's the most emotional. They so touchy. And
bruh,
baby, get sick. Ooh, they the most, damsel in distress. Are you the damsel? What happened? Baby, because they be half dead when they sick. But that's who knows. Look, baby, I had the flu and was at work last week. What's we talking about?
had the flu, still did laundry, still cooked, still went outside and raked the yard. I mean, and
Baby, because you
we
got
laying
to.
up with eight sheets of cover. Talking about I'm cold, I can't make it.
My brother, but what I was about to say was he's so very good because he's been around so many women. He's very good not only at reading what's going on. Now I'm gonna say, if my brother is doing something and he's focused, he has a one-track mind, he don't see nothing but what he's looking at. But if he is, just really paying attention to you, like he really, okay, what's going on with you? And he knows how to communicate. So that is very, very like, I just pray that I get a man like my brother, because overall, he is a very good communicator and he pays attention. It ain't just like, so you got an attitude, so I got an attitude, we got an attitude together. Now he like, Joe, you all right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no!
She may
I
not tell
hate
me right then.
everybody.
She may give me some energy on top of that, but later on she'll call me back like, "Hey, this what was going on, and I had a lot of stuff, and I just felt so overwhelmed and things like that." I'm my bishop asked me a question a couple months ago: "What type of man am I?" And asked what type of person am I looking for, and I told him, I said, "I'm that hybrid of a guy. I'm that contemporary dude with conventional values." So I'm that mixer. So I don't have an issue with the woman who's in leadership. They don't bother me, a woman making a lot more money than me. A great woman, not just a good woman, a great woman will not throw up in her man's face, "Well, I make 20 more $1,000 than you make." A great woman wouldn't say, "Well, I'm the man because my pole is bigger than yours." No,
Yeah. Ain't never heard them, but they be acting like it, baby. They be
yeah,
acting like it. They wear
it
boxes on
doesn't
purpose.
it doesn't change who you are. Because guess what? When I was 5 years old, my mom had me start the process of learning how to cook. And her reason was like, hey, you may get a wife who gets sick and y'all may have kids. And you gotta feed yourself, you gotta feed your children. She taught me how to separate clothes based upon color. She taught me how to do laundry and stuff like that. And the reality of it is, we look at it, right now you might be carrying a bigger stick, but sometimes life happens
Sure do.
and
That thing swizzle up, baby. You
man, look, don't think that joke can be chopped down. I mean,
well,
life
come on.
happens.
Come on. You
Life
have
happens.
Charlie Brown tree. What happened?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing,
Yeah.
like even as women, we can't date a person. Now I'm not saying don't have value standards and all that kind of stuff. Men too. Y'all better have some. You better make sure they bring something to the table, but understand that it could be a wonderful oak table when you meet them. But
Mhm.
understand if the leg get knocked down, it is your job as now their mate or whoever you choose to be to hold that table up until the leg gets fixed.
Right.
And what we do is we date a person. Oh, baby, they pay for this, they pay for that, and they mess around and lose their job. And you can't fool with them no more. What
Yeah.
happened? So,
Yep. And women have played a big role, especially in the African American community. We don't have to call it in big names. If we can go down through history, it was um, the strength of the black woman that held the families together,
mm-hmm.
or they attempted, or they negotiated to make sure everything stayed, aligned and stayed afloat. They had to do what they had to do, not because there was always the absence of a man, because a man didn't want to be there, because sometimes a man was taken away, whether it was through
Mm-hmm.
slavery, murder, and things like that. And so she had to teach her boys how to be men, teach her women how to be strong women, not masculine women, but strong women.
Yes.
So had to teach them how to hold things down, how to do business and things like that. I remember having a conversation with my little girl, and she told me the other day, you always talking about me. Well, yeah, you part of my story, so you're gonna be included. And one thing that we're having this conversation now is the strength that I instilled in her. Now she's still a girl. She still like to be coddled. She still like to be covered. She still like to see the strength of a man because that's what she's seen in me. But at the end of the day, my baby know how to carry her own weight. And she has proved this to me this year. And I have watched her. And she came to me the other day. She said, "You don't say much about whatever I said. I don't say it to you, but I say it to everybody else." It's just like the woman in the Bible. The Bible always talk the virtuous woman. Now, she was praised by other people to her husband by what she did. So here I
Mm-hmm.
am. I'm talking about my baby. I was like, she doing this, she doing that. I'm super proud of her. Now I call and tell her, look, I'm proud of you, but I'm not always talking about her accomplishments. But I'm proud of her because I'm looking from a distance. I'm seeing her growth. I'm seeing the strength I put in her. She's still a woman, but she can carry her own. And I told her, hey, always be the independent, dependent woman. If you can depend on
Mm.
your man, you're able to stand on your own. You're not dumb. Don't ever allow a man to make you feel like that you're less than because you ain't swinging. Y'all, please excuse me. Y'all feel like I'm being disrespectful of my language because you're not swinging. They'll make you less.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You forgetting you came from the side of Adam, not the back of Adam. And plus, in the Bible, when God created man, He created he them. So that means the evil was already there when He created. Y'all don't want me to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the reality of it is, Joe, as a woman, you have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to contribute. And I can't believe when it comes down to the church, we still having these arguments. My thing of it is, this is how I look at it. If the work is speaking, why can't you see that it's been the work of the Holy Spirit?
Mm.
the work of God. Why can't you see that? Well, the Bible says a woman can't do this. A woman can. The Bible says a man must be the bishop must be the husband of one wife. Well, if you understand the cultural context of that scripture, there was polygamous marriages going on. It had nothing to do with divorce. It had nothing to do with a lot of other stuff. It means that you can have 5, 6, 7 wives at the same time, married to them, and call yourself a believer. And that was accepted within the confines of the Jewish faith. Not only just the Jewish faith, other religions as well had other contexts where you can be married to multiple women at the same time. So Paul said must be a husband. You can ask yourself, why is Paul talking to women, to men? And I know y'all may disagree with it. What I'm saying is because you understand, if he's talking to a culture that this is what they believe and this is what they want to do, he's going to address them. At the same time, Paul just said we are one in Christ and neither male or female, no bond or Jew. I'm not trying to get on a theological argument with anyone, but what I'm saying is there's strength in understanding the power of the woman being by our side. There's so much strength. And you got so many people they was talking about in Chicago. I had posted up not too long ago, and I shared on my page, and it was on church page years ago about one of the first mega churches before they start calling mega church was a black woman, Chicago, had thousands of members. They said people get saved and delivered in her ministry. That's just one. And they was talking about the civil rights movement, and we always talk about MLK, but that was women who preceded him, who fought. And matter of fact, if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be stand on the platform that he was on. He could not definitely be the prophet that God called him to be in that particular day and time. Why? Because those women undergirded him.
They did.
So he became the face for them because who couldn't speak for themselves because they were women. Make it bad, they were black women. You know, that's power. And you all, I celebrate you all. Let me give y'all a hand clap. I celebrate y'all's story. I'm not intimidated by your leadership. I'm not intimidated by your guidance. I'm not intimidated by your wisdom. It doesn't take anything from me. I had 2 great female leaders in my life, and I honored them to the highest esteem. There was Apostle Martha G. Ferguson out of Vero Beach, Gifford, Florida, and there was Elder Teresa Seward from here in Humboldt, Tennessee. I will never forget their leadership. I will never forget their teaching. And one thing I love about both of those women, they understood their role when it came down to their husbands. They respected them, they honored them, but they was great leaders in the body of Christ. And I salute them to the fullest. You know, without their teaching, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because they taught me the power of submission. They taught me the power of being a leader. They taught me, you know what I'm saying? Without killing the image of a man. And that's a whole nother subject right there. You know,
Yeah.
you got a lot of women want to chop down trees. Just interpret what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what? When you were talking about that earlier about how women back in the slavery days, how they remained women but took care of business, you know, because they had to, because their husband was taken away. Now y'all women in the comments, y'all answer me this. Why is it that the women back in the slavery days could still walk in their femininity and be leaders, and these days the women feel like they have to literally turn into men to do the same exact thing? Now that's just my question, because I see a lot of CEOs and stuff like that, when they're women, they completely turn into somebody else. And it's just, it's a lot. Like, y'all have to be careful now. Let's be real. These days, you even got to be careful about who you dating. Because you look at these TikToks. Baby, I was looking at a TikTok the other day. I mean, this fine man, and he flashed before and after, and he was Roshika. Hold on now. Hold on. Lord, I felt so bad to just come on TikTok because I feel some type of way. So somebody answer me that question, because these people in the slavery days were being beat. Their husbands were being taken. Some of them had a whole bunch of kids, and they had to, even children that weren't theirs, if their parents was taken away or got killed or whatever, they had to take care of other 4 children and the master's kids. But they never stopped being a woman. Matter of fact, they did all the work in a dress.
You know what? This is just my opinion. My opinion don't matter.
Yeah.
Um, as women begin to climb the corporate ladder, even though like you're talking about the woman, she handled business, but yet she still wasn't in authority. So she still can be chopped down, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
she started walking in their authority, that it was her God ordained purpose, y'all didn't gain respect until you became doggish. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, masculinity became the image of strength, became the image of power. So I have to become you in order to be strong. But it's too
Mm-hmm.
many, even if you don't have any biblical references, it's too many historical references. And before the Arab invaded Africa, before the Europeans invaded Africa, there was a lot of strong queens, and they
Mm-hmm.
honored her, and she was wise. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can dig up those historical ramifications, you can build strength. And they was women. They was not dudes. They was
No.
females. Their femininity was celebrated. But
Mm-hmm.
in this culture that they was bought into, it's like I gotta be this doggish dude in order. And I've seen it, man. I've seen some rough women that was supervised. They was doggish. And the funny
Yes.
part about it, like after if they got fired and you had a chance to talk to them, you seen their softness. He was like, I would never give you too much attitude if you had presented this side of me.
Yeah.
Cause me, I'm that dude. You talk stupid to me. Now, first time I'm like, okay, maybe she having some problem at home. Maybe her kids acting up. That third time, I'm gonna sit in the chair. I'm gonna hear what you got to say. Then I'm gonna tell you what I feel and what I think, and then I'll walk out. Whether you tell me I'm fired or not, I'm gone. Because then it becomes a line of disrespect. Y'all don't have to be. And Bishop Jake said something that upset the world. He said it. Now he may said it in a 1940 way, but he said it, and people took it and trying to say that he trying to throw women back into the no. He haven't. What he's basically saying is you don't have to become doggish to be strong women.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be. And so
Yeah.
like y'all you gotta be. And it's so funny. You got the reverse side.
Okay.
Look, I gotta laugh back because I'm a visual thinker. You got the reverse side going on with the men.
Yes.
You don't you don't have to be y'all know
You
what I'm saying.
don't. You don't. You don't. And I said, things like TikTok and Facebook made it easier for men to express themselves like they want to because they walking around acting like choir director and all that, but y'all in 6-inch heels. I'm watching. Why are you able to walk in 6-inch heels? You've been practicing, baby. Because even Tyler Perry had flats on, baby. You walking in 6-inch heels with no problem. That means you was already doing it. So I just think, identification station. Like, make sure you know your role, and you do not have to change your identity. Have authority.
No,
Like, I learned that a long time ago. Authority is not how you say something. I know people that walk in a room and the whole room just get in order. You know what I'm saying? They just get in order. But then I know people that feel like they gotta, like, I was one because I'm real soft hearted and I'm real jovial and nice. A lot of people don't take me serious. So at one point in my life, when I wanted to be taken serious, I feel like I had to force that issue. So I would come
yeah,
in either real nice, and then if I feel like you was being disrespectful and you didn't take me serious, I come in like a bulldozer, and then everybody be like, "What's wrong with Joe?" I'm trying to gain respect, and y'all not respecting what But in my
yeah,
older age, I learned how to just carry authority, and that's totally different.
yeah. I want to say to you all women, as a guy, I said a whole lot to encourage you all, and I hope y'all understand that. To every woman, whether you black, white, Hispanic, or whoever you may be, and as we wrap up our Black History program, I want to say thank you all for being that support to our communities. Thank you for undergirding our local leaders as well as our national leaders. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your insight, your outside, all of that above. I want to say as a male that I appreciate you uh, to the fullest. I salute you and I honor you and continue to stay in that vein. even though we live in a society that still don't celebrate women like they should be celebrated, um, keep pushing. Things may not change tomorrow, but they're going to change for you. Saddleback Church just got kicked out of the Southern Baptist Convention because they ordained women as elders in the church. And come to find out, there's a church in Tennessee. The same thing happened because it doesn't align with their theology. Now, I always ask this question because they pull scriptures to support their idea. But what about the other scriptures? Do they align with your theology? Or you pick and choosing what scriptures fit what you choose to believe? How does that work? So if you want to tell a woman that she can't lead, can't be a pastor, then you should also tell a woman when she's administrating on her minstrel, as my baby called it, her minstrel. That was the inside joke. So she listening. She gonna text me in a few minutes. That she shouldn't lay in the same bed with you for 7 days. Then she got to take 7 more days to become purified. If that's the case, if you believe scripture like that, then why are you laying those sheets of mixed garment? That's abomination.
Y'all be using polyester.
Polyester mixed with something else, and
Silk.
So we you think that being legalistic and holding those perspectives and scriptures, do what you want to do. You believe what you believe. I'm going to honor you and allow you to believe what you believe. I'm not going to judge you the way you judge me. But what I am saying is this right here: the letter killeth, but it's the spirit.
Spirit, yes.
It's the principle of the thing that give life to the scriptures, understanding all of that. So stay strong, sisters. Stay strong. This has been a great conversation. Talk about the Black, her story. Y'all got a story to tell. And I think Grandma I think she kicked it off for us.
Baby, did.
She kicked it off. And it was great. It was great. So we gotta conclude this, and we do apologize for starting late. If you like to cash app us, you could at $Ray Image 26. So you see at the bottom scrolling, like Joe doing, like she's on Showtime on the Apollo. If you have any questions, you can email us. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Here, go right here. If any questions, you can email us at rareimage26@gmail.com. If you'd like to be a donor, you definitely can cop this and hit up. And you'll definitely see that link. Like I always say, we don't see your information. Want to be a monthly sponsor? You see the sponsorship package. It's on the screen. You can scan the QR code right there. It will take you straight to that that link that I was showing earlier. Man, this has been a great conversation. I thank you all for joining us on tonight. And once again, for the fourth or fifth time, we do apologize. There's some technical situations. I didn't know Janice was going to connect her computer tonight. And Huck connected it. Now she got frustrated with me. We should have been doing this earlier.
While I'm yet sitting here.
And she said, and I'm going to spank you. I said, okay, I'll let you spank me this time. I take the whooping. So I should be more, should took the leadership role and said, hey, did you connect this? Let's run through this. But I didn't do that. It's okay. She loves me.
I do.
But y'all, this was a great conversation. If you enjoyed this conversation tonight, we were just talking, nothing serious, nothing deep, but just talking, giving our opinion about the matter. And whether you agree with it or not, I still want to say this to you all as a man to a woman. Hey, stand in your rightful place.
Yes.
Don't shrink for no man or no woman. Know who you are. Know who you are in God and in yourself. So we love you. Josie, anything you want to say?
I don't have anything to say. This is very, very good. Very good. This is very good. I hope y'all got strength tonight because he was talking some good stuff. And, let me say this. This is the Conversation Podcast. We have a lot of different conversations. We're not here to persuade anybody. We're not here to argue or try to make you believe what we're saying. We're having conversation. It's just something to open your mind up and enlighten you and have you simply to have a thought about a space, a sector, a situation. Everybody's not going to agree. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. I mean, me and my brother on the show together, and I don't agree with everything he says. So I just want to, put that out there because, people gonna be mad at you because they don't agree. But we're not trying to stir up the pot, and we're not trying to make anybody angry. But we are trying to have that conversation because it needs to be had, whatever the conversation is. So, yes, I just had to put that disclaimer out there because I'm very protective over all my people, including those that are in my chat. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. I don't want anybody coming at y'all because y'all type something y'all feel. It's what y'all feel. And freedom of speech is what we're here for, So we want to make sure that those voices that have been blocked out, knocked out, shut up, that they become open again. And you have the right to feel how you feel and think how you think. Our only job here is to love you guys regardless.
And guess what, Joe? Sometimes you never know if you're right or wrong until you open your mouth and say something.
That's right. Because I know you done learned, in the words of my granny, you done learned me a lot.
Yeah, and you done learned me a lot. Sometimes, even in the midst of arguments, I still listen. That's a weird quality that I have.
Yeah, I know you do. That's because I don't hear nothing. If I had to lay in the bed and then be like, they did say that though, they right though, and then I come back and say something. But while I'm fussing,
I'm fussing and listening. I don't know how that came about.
You got dual citizenship, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, good people. Gotta go. We love you and peace out.
2 and 2.